I've known you a long time. I'm afraid I will. Or I will recommend you. See you later. No, we are not. Will you not mind me? I'd be really.
Good evening and welcome to worship at Centenary United Methodist Church. It's hard to say good evening instead of good morning.
It's weird.
It's wonderful to see you, and it's also just such an experience to see the light in this room in a different way and in a different time of day. So we're just excited to share this time with you. I'm Pastor Michelle with Pastor Erica, and you can find the papers that you need back there by the offering plate, and you can put your Connect cards in the offering plate after the service. And And then after the service is over, this will just be half an hour. We have classes for all ages that are happening. We're in an exciting phase of our building project right now. Tomorrow we expect, can I cross my fingers how many times?
We're gonna
Cross your toes. We are hoping that all the stainless steel stuff for the kitchen will come and get installed tomorrow. And so that will be really exciting. And we know that the floor is going to get all ripped up and the replacement will start in the commons tomorrow morning. So if you love this carpet, it's time to say thank you to it tonight.
Goodbye.
And I wouldn't advise kissing it, but anyway, it's time to say thank you to that carpet for the good work it has done because there's a new floor coming.
There are several other announcements on the back of your bulletin this evening. So I encourage you to look at that. There is a Connections fundraiser coming up, Escape from Homelessness. It will be an escape room style fundraiser that will be happening next Sunday night at Bethlehem Lutheran. So it's going to be really fun. Get a group of people together and come raise some money for the shelter. And we also, on adult forum on Sunday mornings, will be starting our Ordinary Grace book study this week. William Kent Kruger, who is the author, will be with us Sunday the 14th of October. So mark that and join us for that. With that, I think we're ready for our opening hymn. So if you would like to stand and sing.
You may be seated. And I invite you to join me in the gathering prayer. Friends, we know what God desires of us.
That we do justice and love kindness and walk humbly with God.
We gather tonight to remind each other of that, about God.
To remember that now is always the right season to do good things.
So with thanks in our hearts, let us worship God.
Please pray with me. God of all seasons, be with us this night as we lean into the idea of doing all the good we can in all the times and the seasons of our lives. God, we know that this evening there are those in our world who are living with daily injustice, those who know the hurt and pain. May we be in a season of healing and acceptance. During this change in atmospheric seasons, we see the beauty and the destruction that nature can yield. Tonight we ask that you be with those affected by recent tornadoes, with those in Indonesia dealing with earthquakes and landslides, and those recovering from hurricanes and tsunamis. May we listen for the ways we do good in these places. Gracious and loving God, help us to sense the season we are in, be it a time of sowing or of resting. Give us courage to live into your call to do good in all that we do. And as we join voices in the prayer your Son taught us to pray, remind us that we never do any of this alone. Now join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I invite you to stand and join in our next hymn this sermon song. You may be seated. Our scripture for tonight comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. I'm guessing most of you will know this one. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to mourn, and laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. Here ends our reading tonight. So just before we jump into the message, just a little bit about how our Wednesday night services are going to, kind of the pattern we're going to follow. It will be a shorter service. We'll have a couple hymns and prayers as we did this evening. It may change a little bit as we kind of figure out flow of our evening, but it will typically, the message is typically going to follow what we have talked about the Sunday before, but it won't matter if you were here on Sunday or not, because it will be a message that fits all by itself, and it will be one that works because we have a lot of our kids in worship with us, so it will be a multi-generational message. So at least that's the goal. You can let me know if we hit that by the end of the evening tonight. All right, so I always want to break into song when I hear that Ecclesiastes verse, but we're not going to do that tonight, but hopefully that is going through your minds as we go forward. So for the month of September, we have been talking about this phrase, the do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. This is from John Wesley, or at least is attributed to John Wesley. We don't know if this was actually a quote he said, but it certainly talks about the way he teaches us to live out that gospel call to love our neighbors as ourselves. And so as I was thinking about how do we kind of put a bow on this at the end, because we are done with this series, we'll be starting something new next month. What does this look like? How can we think about this maybe a little bit differently? And I started to think about what scripture might work well, and Ecclesiastes came up. Do all the good you can at all the times you can. And I began to think about this Ecclesiastes verse that talks about there's a time to plant and there's a time to sow, there's a time for war and a time for peace, but it's always in balance. God's time is always in balance. Now the writer of Ecclesiastes, we're not really sure who wrote it. Now kids, do you know, is Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament or the New Testament? Old Testament, right. We're not exactly sure who wrote it. We think that it was one of the kings of Jerusalem, and it's known as a wisdom book. It tells us how to live our lives. And much of what is written in it still matters for us today. There's still some beautiful advice, I think, especially coming from this Ecclesiastes 3. So when we take this Ecclesiastes verse, of there's a time for everything, and we take John Wesley saying, do good all the time in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, and we put them together, that's where we're going to go tonight. We're going to see what we get when we put these two together. So I want you to think about spring for a second in your minds. I know it's hard because today I'm not sure if it's summer or winter and it might change in the next 5 minutes, but Minnesota is doing its thing today. But think about spring. Think about how the earth smells. You just think about kind of that wet. The snow is gone. The earth smells wet. Farmers are getting out to the fields and they're starting to dig, and it's time to plant. Think about the springtime of your life. We have a lot of kids in here tonight that I think are probably in their springtime. You guys are young. It's exciting. Things are happening. Lots of things are being planted in your brains and in your lives. You're learning, you're growing. All those things are happening. And so that springtime is a time to do good in often new ways or to plant new ideas. Now, maybe springtime doesn't always mean the age that you are in the springtime of your life. Maybe it's a new creative place where you are in your life. Maybe you started a new job, or maybe you are in a new location, or you've made new friends. And those times are springtimes where it's fertile. You can smell the possibility coming up from the ground. And then we get to summer. In summertime, everything feels like it kind of has its rhythm. We sing about summer, it's always about love, and things are beautiful and easy and fabulous. Obviously, those writers didn't have mosquitoes and tornadoes and all things yet. But that summertime sort of feels like we've hit a stride. And so what does our season in the summertime look like? What could that be? How are we doing good in the summer times of our lives? I think often that's when we're nurturing those plants, those seeds that have been laid and have been tended to. We're nourishing them, we're helping them to grow. This is, I think, for all of you in here that are in those tween years, maybe those teen years, starting into young adult years, as things really start to have a trajectory. You can kind of see what that future might look like. For others of you, it might just be when you finally hit some calm and things feel a little easy. Like, okay, I got this, I can do this. Wesley tells us do good in those times. Figure out how in that summer of your life you might choose to do good. Maybe you're going places that you've never been. Maybe you're finding new adventures, as often happens in the summer. Wesley calls us to do good in those times and in those places. And then we get to the fall of our lives. So what starts happening in fall? The leaves start to change. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of letting go. I was driving home tonight at our streets, and you have trees that are still vibrant green, and all their leaves are there. And right next to it is a tree that has nothing left, and there's a huge pile of yellow leaves on the ground. It's that season of great change. That time of letting go, maybe what we've held on to, maybe our idea of what doing good looks like. Maybe it's a time in the fall of our lives where we're ready to plant some new things, and we're dropping seeds as we go. You think of all of those trees and the acorns. My backyard right now is full of acorns. Think of all those seeds that are being planted and will be growing in the ground. So that fall of your life might happen as you hit middle age, and we start to let some things go. It could be any number of things that we're letting go by the time we hit middle age. But think about what else in the seasons of your life. Where do you start to let some things go to make room for newness? Think about those leaves on the trees, and we're used to seeing them green, and suddenly one morning it's red or it's yellow. There's something new happening in that letting go. And so God calls us in those times, and Wesley will call us in those times to look for the ways that we can do good, that we can see something different. And then we hit the wintertime season. The winter time of our lives could be towards the end of our lives. I think of winter, this picture was taken in my backyard, and I love when it snows in our backyard because it's peaceful and it's so quiet. You know that hush that you get when the snow falls. And the tree is standing there, it is firm, it is strong, but it's quiet. And inside the sap is just kind of hanging out, waiting for spring to come. It's a time of restoration inside of us. It's a time of, I think, God doing things in us that we might not quite know what that looks like, but there's good waiting to happen. Sometimes in the winter of our life, it truly is the end of our life. And you think about the gifts, the acorns that have been scattered for years and years and years and years and years, that continue to pop up here and there and grow into trees. John Wesley would say, no matter where you are in your life, no matter what season, if it's spring, summer, winter, or fall, there is good to be done. And Ecclesiastes will tell us that there is a time to be out planting, but there is also a time for resting and collecting and nurturing things. And so my question for you tonight is, where are you in the midst of this? What good is John Wesley calling you to? What good are you hoping to do with your life in whatever season you're in? Are you planting new things? Is it spring in your world and you have fertile soil and you're excited about what might happen? Is it summer and things are kind of okay? And maybe there's some new places because you've hit kind of an easy spot. There are new places where you can be looking to do good in the world. Is it the fall where you need to just let some things go and some new colors arrive on the scene? How are you showing those colors and being good to those around you? Or are you in the winter? Are you storing things up? Are you peaceful and quiet and listening in the calm? What is God calling you to do to love God and love your neighbor in the seasons of your life? John Wesley tells us, do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places that you can, at all the times that you can, to all the people that you can, as long as ever you can. I invite you to stand for our benediction. For everything there is a season, and you are called to do all the good that you can. Go out into this night and pray about the season that you are in, and then go and do good with what God has given you. Go in peace. Amen. And now we're going to do this a little differently because I want to dismiss our kids so they get where they're going. So, connect, kids. You're welcome. So connect, kids. Miss Shelley is going to take you right now. So if you are sixth grade and under, go